we have seen in the last number of years increasing concerns from the courts who are looking at court proceedings both in the criminal context, the civil context, but also the administrative law context about systemic delay in the system. And, you know, when I think about it, Jim and I think about it, we think, well, what are the reasons for systemic delay that regulators are experiencing? And, you know, they're fairly common. One is an increasing number of complaints that regulators are dealing with. Second is the complexity of the complaints that are being received. You know, and third is the increasing expectation or feeling that there's an increasing expectation on regulators to conduct more robust investigations, the concern that if they don't investigate to the nth degree, that those, you know, that there's going to be a review or appeal of a dismissal and it's going to get overturned. The other issue is lack of resources, and sometimes, you know, too much to do and not enough people to do the work.
As soon as a delay becomes a concern, the affected party needs to raise it with the regulator. And most of the time, they are to go to the regulator and not to the courts. And this is an important principle that the Supreme Court of Canada agreed with. Where delay has not affected the fairness of a hearing, the test to determine if a delay amounts to abuse of process is, was there an inordinate delay? Did it cause significant prejudice? And is the delay manifestly unfair to the party, or in some other way brings the administration of justice into disrepute? That some of the most serious acts of unprofessional conduct are contributed to by mental health issues. And historically, though, you know, mental health issues were rarely raised in professional discipline hearings. Why? Because of the lack of understanding and the stigma. And as some, and I underline some intentionally, of the stigma has begun to ease, and as society becomes more aware of the prevalence and the impact of mental health issues, these issues are being raised more frequently in the context of professional discipline proceedings. Mental health issues of professional discipline are very complex, raising issues of causation. You know, did the mental health issue cause the unprofessional conduct? Did it contribute to it? Duty of accommodation, how do you accommodate? What's the diminished capacity of a professional and what kind of impact does that have? And how do we balance the mental health issues with the need to protect the public?
During the pandemic, regulators started to address these unprecedented issues. And suddenly regulators had to consider, well, how did public health restrictions apply in the context of the public protection mandate? How will we use our regulatory tools that we have available to provide guidance to members? How will we communicate to the members or registrants? And, you know, so a vast kind of issues that regulators had to address. The vast majority of regulated members were compliant with new regulatory requirements and public health measures, but of course there were some members who didn't agree. This resulted in a number of complaints that were ultimately referred to investigation. And during the investigation, the context that we saw was there were some common types of responses from registrants. And oftentimes the context was for them to challenge the authority of the regulator to investigate their conduct or take some kind of action.